Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Unfortunately, we have had a really tragic news story overnight. I've been following it all night, hoping for a much better outcome than apparently we're going to have. So last night, an American Airlines jet flying from Wichita to Washington, D.C. collided with a military Black Hawk helicopter, and it plunged into Potomac on its final approach. It was under 1,000 feet, making its final approach to the runway when the collision occurred, and immediately the plane ended up in the Potomac. And at this time of year, it's pretty cold water in there. Despite the low altitude that they were in, the plane had broke apart and was in 3 different sections. Now, there's all kinds of speculation on what happened. It's an American Airlines jet, and the American Airlines CEO was basically sort of putting the blame on the military helicopter, wondering why the pilot was cutting across the path of the plane that was on final approach. There are warning systems out there that both the military and the commercial airlines have whenever another airplane or any obstacle, for that matter, is nearby, that will warn them. But apparently the military and the commercial airlines are on different kind of warning systems. So they knew from so far, they do know that from the voice active, like the conversations going on, they do know for sure that the military helicopter pilot saw the airplane. But as of now, they are unsure if the airplane was even aware of the helicopter. Now, this early warning system will come out. You see it in movies all the time, where you'll see a pilot's unconscious and they come to after some spy thing happened, and they're woken up by that pull up kind of warning. That's an actual thing on airplanes. And what that does is it's in contact with, say, 2 planes approaching each other. It will tell one plane to pull up. It will tell the other plane to pull down. So they go in opposite directions. It'll send the signals knowing what to do. However, it turns off at a certain height. I have heard conflicting reports. Some of the reports say 500 feet, some of the reports say 1,000 feet. But either way, the reason it shuts off at a certain time is because when you're so close to the land, it won't recognize the ground or a building. It will recognize the other airplane, and so it doesn't want to send you on a signal that would send you into a skyscraper or send you into a hill, or into the ground for that matter. So yeah, apparently I was watching all night, and there were so many rescue. Within 10 minutes, the rescue teams were there. Even some nearby pleasure boats and people who were on the shore headed out to try and see if they could rescue anybody and help out in any way they could. It was a tremendous effort by the rescue teams. The firefighters there were over 200 involved in the rescue, and they were diving all night looking for people, trying to see if people were trapped in an air pocket on the plane or anything they could possibly do. And so I highly, kudos to everybody involved there. But tragically, it looks like it's no longer a rescue mission as of early this morning. It is now a recovery mission. And so, as I'm filming this, it's about 9 o'clock in the morning, and there are about 28 confirmed people who have passed in this tragedy, and they are expecting to have a total of 67 64 from the airline, and 3 from the Black Hawk helicopter. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of questions being asked. There's going to be a lot of support needed for the friends and families, especially from Wichita, where the plane was coming from. There was even a figure skating team on board that was all in a group at once. It's never a great story. This is the first one, I believe, plane crash for an American Airlines in the United States in about 19 years or so. And it's very rare for it to be a mid-air collision. The key here is, was the collision avoidable? And was the collision because they were operating on 2 different safety systems, the military and the commercial? Now, the military do not have to put out that signal of where they are kind of thing. It's kind of like military security, right? However, when they're flying in an area that is through commercial airline landing patterns or takeoff patterns, you would think at that time they should be sending out signals, and hopefully they were. But we'll have to wait till they recover the black box and the voice recordings and hear more about this. The mayor, the governors, even President Trump has all commented on this tragedy already. It's probably the worst airline tragedy in decades in the United States. So yeah, not a great day to wake up to this kind of news this morning. The airline immediately was shut down. Not just the American Airlines, the whole airport was shut down, and many flights were canceled. And they did not reopen until early this morning, around 10 a.m. or so. They started opening up more flights. And I'm sure if you're a person flying out of there today or flying into Washington, you're a little nervous about taking off in the air. I know my flight back home now is going to make me a lot more nervous than I was already, and I'm not a great flyer. I'm not a person who loves to fly. I would much rather, and I fly all the time, right? I'm in the air pretty much 2 or 3 times a month, both ways, kind of thing. So yeah, condolences again to the friends, the family, everybody involved. I really do want to mention again the rescue teams, the firefighters, the police, and the volunteers at the site. Like, they were there fast, and they did not give up. They were out there in diving suits in the freezing cold water, trying and hoping that they found somebody. And from all accounts, unfortunately, their efforts were for naught. And we'll have to see what happens more in the future. So I do hope you appreciate the news update. It's not great news, but it's something I feel we have to cover, since when we're going to cruises, most of us fly to our destinations as well. And we should be aware of all situations that are happening out there.